It's on. No.
Ready?
Yes, Themba.
All right. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to NOSWEAT. We've got an amazing evening coming up, and I'm not alone. We've got such phenomenal guests with us this evening. I've got, obviously, the legendary Gorries, as well as Alyssa Conley, the legendary Alyssa Conley as well in the building. So welcome to you guys. How are you guys doing?
Doing great, Themba. Good to be here, Mr. Gorries.
No, I'm good. Thanks for having me. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
Themba's been asking me, but I'm here now.
Finally, backtracking to the schedule.
I'm here.
No, it's so exciting having a former athlete, former coach. Even have some videos that later on you'll see Gorries in action. So hey guys, those of you who have forgotten, he was in the mix and he's been doing his thing for a while. So it's gonna be a good one. I'm excited. Alyssa, how are you feeling about this one?
I am super excited. You know, like we said, the legendary Gorries in the building. Not only a legendary athlete, set the scene for our South African sprinters, but also a legendary coach at the moment, you know. Been to a couple of Olympics. We know he's got great accolades in terms of medals behind. He's back with coaching at international events, so it's going to be a good chat.
Don't forget the records.
The records.
Don't forget the records. This man is cooking records left, right, and center. And, I'm excited to see what the season's going to bring. We'll get to, at the end, we'll talk about predictions. That's one of the topics we're going to talk about. So don't give away too much in the beginning.
No. Never.
Yeah, let's start off with Happy New Year for those who are jumping into the year and just woke up. Happy New Year to you. And we're going to have, I think it's going to be a good year. This year has got everything. Eh?
It's going to be a great year.
What is missing out of this year, Coach? How do you plan for a year like this?
Look, I mean, it's unconventional. We're going to have the next 3 years, basically, back-to-back World Championships this year, next year, and immediately on to 2024. So, yeah, look, I mean, there's no time to rest. Rest is for the weak. I don't think anyone here is weak. So look, I mean, it's exciting 3 years coming up. I'm looking forward to it. We've got exciting young talent coming through as well. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of surprises. I think one or two of the youngsters he's going to surprise a senior or two, which I'm looking forward to.
Don't say too much. Don't say too much.
That's it.
Youngster surprising the seniors.
We're going to get that. Okay, let me run us through the program for today, right? The topic today is obviously, the topic today is NOSWEAT Podcast, Lock and Load, but it's also whistles and medals. That's it. Very simple. Whistles and medals is the topic, because without the whistles, guys, there are no medals. Very simple as that.
Yeah.
But the topics we're going to be touching on today, first one is going to be get to know Paul Gorries. We're going to talk a bit about you as a person, as an athlete, your philosophies, and then we're going to just do a 2021 quick reflection. It was a phenomenal year. So this topic is called Through Paul's Eyes. Powerful. And then we'll touch on then versus now, training and coaching. What has changed back then to now? I think that will be interesting. You were an athlete as well. You guys were doing way different training to what the guys are doing now. Some works, some doesn't.
Yeah.
It will be interesting to touch on that. And then Wesley Baton wrote an article recently on plenty of international opportunities on offer as the athletes gear up for bumper period. It's literally going to be a bumper period. Race and competition after competition, championship after championship. So that's going to be good. And then we're going to touch on She Rose, female athletes. Alyssa always sprinkles that one in somehow. She's going to challenge you on that one.
All right.
And then mega season and then season predictions. So that is today's agenda.
It's a juicy show.
It's a juicy one.
It's a juicy show.
Huh?
Putting me on the spot here.
Yeah. You gotta be on the spot. All right. So we're gonna start with get to know Paul. Who is Paul Gorries? Where are you from? Where did this athletics journey for you start? And yeah, let's start there.
Geez, I mean, very long time ago. I mean, I don't want to give my age away now, but a long time ago. I'm originally from Cape Town. Schooled in Cape Town. Then in 98, I got selected for which was World Youth Games, which is now known as Youth Olympic Games.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So I went to that. I won the 100 then. I got silver in the 200. And then I moved. The next year I moved to Port Elizabeth. And then, met up with my late coach. That's been a mentor for me. I wouldn't be sitting here if it was not for her.
Yeah, she played a big role.
So she played a big role, coaching-wise, athletics-wise. So in a nutshell, basically, that's me. I've stayed in Port Elizabeth up until 2012, 2013. Without me knowing, Magda was slowly enrolling me into the coaching, taking over sessions.
Yeah.
And then it started becoming more on a, permanent basis. And then I started working for the Eastern Cape Academy of Sport. A lot of guys come through that system, the likes of, Kukamur, Adams, Sox was for a while in that system as well. A young Dambile before they came this side. So, quite a few of them. Even Anasa was in that system for a while. And, I worked there up until 2015, 16, and then I went back to Cape Town. In 2019, end of after Doha, found myself in Pretoria, working at the university and at the Tech Sports School.
All right. What
in
a journey.
year and a half, right?
Yeah.
I mean, as far as we can go back, you've been living in SA colors. I'm sure it's like pajamas now. When you get home, it's like which year tracksuit are we wearing to sleep tonight?
We have a whole museum in the wardrobe.
Look, I never really had a break from athletics. From when I was competing, straight into the coaching. So look, it's been quite a journey. It's an ongoing journey. I feel I am nowhere close to, as a coach, where I want to be and what I want to achieve. I feel it's important for a coach to have goals too, not just athletes. So, I can't, pitch up at the track with like a headless chicken, making up stuff. And, I need to have a set goal, set plan, and it's a two-way relationship, athlete needs to buy into that plan. Like I said, I'm nowhere near where I want to be in terms of, coaching. I've had a lot of hard lessons to learn when I was an athlete. I made quite a few mistakes, but I think, those mistakes turned me into the coach that I am today.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's speak about Paul the athlete first. You said that you obviously went to youth games back then, World Youth Games, which is known as Youth Olympics now, and you won the 100 meter.
Yeah.
And silver in the 200, right?
100 meters, silver in the 200.
Through that. That's massive accolades. I mean, maybe people back then in SA never recognized that as a massive accolade, but that's a massive accolade. How did you feel about that in your athletic career? What did it mean to you? Was that your highlight of your career?
No, I would. It was partially, I would say. I mean, I would say that was the start of my athletics career.
You started off, bam, gold medal.
Some of us have been
I've always been running, but a lot of people don't know my first love was rugby. I mean, I played under 13 Craven Week. That year I played outside centre. I that same year in '98 I went through that trials period for the under 16s and stuff, and and then I got selected. Also it was an emotional year for me. I lost one of my best friends, at the time, who was also an athlete, very good athlete. Also, he was a 400-meter athlete. So me going to Moscow in '98, I only had one thing in mind, and that was, I'm not walking away here with anything less than winning. I mean, that medal I dedicated to his parents, after. And then the very next year, I was on to African Champs. I won that. And in the following year, I won World Juniors. I mean, I must say, in terms of my junior career, I've had a phenomenal career. If you ask me now, and I sit back and I look my senior career, I would say I should have done more. Like I say, hard lessons to be learned. And for me, my senior career, in my opinion, was average.
But it's tough. Sorry to interrupt. I mean, it's sometimes you have to step back, and if you were to look back, and living through those moments and winning those international medals, do you feel like you took it for granted? Like, no man, let's
definitely
carry on. Let's go get the senior one.
No, definitely. Look, other things started becoming more important, off the track stuff. And I think we struggle with that, in our daily lives, even with athletes today, because the minute they start doing well, the things around it becomes more important. How big the contracts is, and how this and how that, and forgetting how they got there. I think I got lost in translation a little bit back then. I had to pull myself out of it. I think I got my first major injury only when I was like 23 years old. And then I went to 400. So I'm in my very first 4, I ran 45.4, and I thought, okay, maybe this is the event. But if I look back today, I should have never done 400. It was just a training.
It's too hard.
Look, I never bought into the idea. You don't win World Juniors and all of those things on 200 meters, and then all of a sudden, look, I mean, it worked out for Wade pretty well. He probably bought into it. If you ask him today, he'll still tell you 200 is his favorite event.
But I think he was also pushed into it a bit because of the injuries he had at that time.
So look, for me, it was a training run. I remember it very well. I didn't even win the race. It was in Poch in 2001, the year after I won World Juniors, and it was a training run, and ended up running 45.47.
It is.
And then I was just like, okay,
let's do it.
And then I started training before, and then I ran low 45. I was like, what the hell am I doing? I know. It was just like, but like I say, I mean, I've learned, and that's why the coaching is fun for me, because there's nothing athletes can't tell me that. Basically, I've been there, I can relate, and my thing is simple. Listen, guys, I had my career. This is your career. You're not cheating me, you're cheating you. So whatever you do off the track, that's on you. It's not on me. Just don't come back and blame me if things don't work out for you, because I'm always, one of those people that's brutally honest with the guys. This is how it is. This is what's going to happen. And if you feel otherwise and you knock your head, I mean, you must take the responsibility and move on.
Learn. Knock it hard and learn. But now, how did you handle that transition? Because obviously, great youth, great junior career. Like you said, your senior was average. So the transition from, being an athlete and a competitor to being a coach, was that just the easy, quick, okay, I'm done, it's fine, let's move on? Or, how did you handle that transition?
Look, I was fortunate, I must say. I mean, Magda was very well skilled. She was a level 5 World Athletics lecturer at the time, which there was very few coaches in South Africa with that pedigree in terms of educational. So, and she knew how to handle me. It was pretty much my first coach, basically. And I mean, I had one coach literally my whole career. I mean, I don't really count the coaches at school because it's school.
But let's give a shout out to Mr. Who is it?
At school.
Wanted to say Hendrik.
Look. I had a school coaches, but I mean, I'm talking about really when you started taking up athletics. I've I pretty much stuck to one coach. I've had opportunities to go abroad, especially after winning World Juniors, and for me, it was like, my thinking was simple. I mean, I've won World Juniors, I've done well with this coach, why should I change, you know? And yeah, look, I mean, she's taught me a lot over the years, and I've learned a lot over the years, and yeah, look, a lot of it is, you know, is down to her, you know, to where I am today, and how I got to this point.
Yeah, like, you know, just going through some of like your old posts, you just see everybody commenting, yeah, she put you in your place, she knew how to control and handle you. So I think that's important, you know. I think the relationship you have with your coach is so much more important than where, you know, you can go to America, maybe run faster, but who knows how your life turns out.
Exactly.
So it's a heavy one to weigh, you know.
Look, I mean, and I always say I have one career, you know, and you know, some of us get it right, and some don't, you know. And you look, I mean, if I sit back and I look at seniors, and I'd be like, you know, I should have done more. I should have gone sub 20. I should have done more in the 400 if I really bought into that. And then, you know, but if I sit back coaching wise and I look at everything now, I'm like, maybe these lessons I needed to learn to be able to do what I'm doing now in terms of coaching, so that I can relay that message to the next generation in terms of, you know what, guys, this thing only ends one way. So I look, I mean, I have no regrets. I've you know, athletics has been good to me. So no, I have absolutely no regrets. I'm actually just looking forward to, you know, what's to come for the years. That's it. So I mean, I'm cool with that.
That's amazing, and obviously we're always watching you and following your athletic career, but now your coaching career, and we see how, you know, many athletes are coming through you, the records that we spoke about, the 4x100 meter men's always fire on the track. How important is that athlete-coach relationship? Because we see a lot of times, especially now, our athletes are chopping and changing coaches left, right, and center every season. You know, how important is that athlete and coach relationship, the trust behind it? And a lot of people just see the athletes running on track and winning, but they don't think about the team behind the athlete. So just take us through that.
Before you touch on that, Coach Paul. I want us to watch a video of you running back in the days.
Throwback.
This is a proper throwback.
Analyze the style now.
God. Even the quality of the video, you can see.
You can see it's way back in the day. Okay, let's see.
So let's see. This is you remember this one?
This is 2006 World Cup.
Olympic gold medal.
Africa relays. I was part of the African team. We should have won this one. I'm still bitter about this one. I'm still bitter. Myself and Gary still speak about it from time to time. We're good mates still, Gary Kakai, and yeah, we should have won this one, man. I put him into a nice lead here.
You did your job.
I did my job. I gave him a 44-6 split, man, from the block. So, I mean, yeah, we should have won this one.
I'm just forward a bit, and then we're going to watch a bit of Paul's leg.
Africa currently in third place by 2 points. They have 10th IAAF World Cup in athletics. The men's 4x400 meter relay. The America's team in lane 3, the U.S. in lane 7. Jamel Ashley for the U.S. on the opening leg.
Solid finish there by Mr. Paul Gorries.
This was my thing, man. Finish back in the day.
Break for the pole on the backstretch. Africa in good
Thanks,
shape.
Fukama. Thank you. But I mean, that just shows, you know, you were in the game. I mean, USA, you know, France.
Yeah.
You know these things, man.
This is an African team, 2006.
So you're running in the orange and...
the maroon. Those ugly colors. But
yeah. But it's a legendary kit. I mean, when I think of them, I always think the likes of Kotsomo Kweno, Mbulemu Mrauzi.
Geraldine Pillay. We all...
Geraldine, that's the
Haida Salem, all of us, you know. We were Matthew Quinn, all of us, you know, that year. So, and that time it was tougher. You needed top 2 to make that African team. You know, I mean, the rules has changed over the years. Like, I mean... In 2018, when we won African champs in the wonderful Asaba. Let's not get into that. Yeah, we were fortunate enough that our whole relay team got selected. But back then, you needed to be top 2 in your event, and then they choose 2 other guys for relay. So, and only one per event could obviously run in the individual. I was second that year at Africans to Gary. I mean, that year Gary ran 44:10, the African record that Wade got later on. So.
Yeah.
That's flames. That's fire.
It's fast. You know, like, okay, here I've got pretty much people that will understand. We know we come from almost the same era, you know.
I think I'm a bit older.
Yeah, a bit. Older. We were there. You guys were always like our role models, you know. We're always like, Paul Gorries, Morne Nachel, you know what I mean? Yeah. So we grew around, like, you know, looking at you guys as, and I mean, it feels like, I think we'll get to that when we get to the topic of what has changed in the training then versus now, yeah? Because when I looked at the guys training, these guys were training hard. They were putting in they were vomiting after the sessions. They were professional athletes, you know, they went to national competitions, whatever. And then you just look at what the youngsters are doing now. It's like, is it just the time?
Train smart, not hard, man.
You heard it from the coach himself.
Train smart. Look, I mean, I think the belief in coaches back then was just different. Some of them had this military style. I mean, luckily I don't come from that. You know, Magda was, like I said, she was educated. You know, if I just had to listen, I probably would have done better as a senior. But yeah, let's not go through that again. So yeah, but I think a lot of coaches had this military style back in the day, you know, and especially school coaches.
Yeah.
You know, no disrespect to any one of them, you know, because we had some phenomenal junior athletes, but they just never made that transition to senior. And one of the things was they was just overworked. They trained too hard too soon.
Very true.
You know, and that's why they did not get to senior level. You know, and I think our coaches these days they're exposed to more. I mean, the internet is there. It's not there. I'm not a believer in internet coaching anyway. But in terms of communication with other coaches, a lot open. I mean, I've got a lot of coaches that I communicate with, good mates of mine that used to run with me, the likes of Christian Malcolm and those guys. I mean, we've been friends since 1999, 2000. So we have that thing. I mean, you know, part of the relay, he always used to be in my ear. I mean, why you guys don't have a relay team? You know, what's happening? And he was like, you know, Britain maybe had at the time 2 or 1 sub-10 guys, but they were always in the mix. And it's like, why are you guys not doing relay? You know, and he was constantly, you know, in my ear, and he was a great help. I mean, up until today, I would still take a few things and, you know, Christian, what do you think of this? You know, I mean, because, I mean, they come from that culture. We didn't have that relay culture. We're starting to develop it. So that's part and parcel of the reason I think a lot of the guys didn't, you know, come through the system the way they were supposed to. I mean, when I was at World Juniors, we ended up 3rd on the medal tally.
Wow.
You know, myself, I won gold. Hardis Pinar won gold in the javelin. Hannes Hopley in the discus. Jock Freitag in the high jump. Then we had 2 medals in the 400-meter hurdles, Tad de Villiers and Akil Saliers, silver and bronze. So, I mean, if you look at that generation, our senior team at the time should have been way better. Way better. So, I mean, because it was not a lack of talent. I mean, I think Hardis should have probably medaled at a senior level. I think a lot of us should have, you know. But, look, I think coaches have learned over the years. They, like I said, they're a lot more educated. They know about recovery a lot more than what people know about. Recovery is as important as training, you know, and so yeah, I think we've come heaps and steps in terms of athletics to where we are now. And I mean, we've got some crazy talent.
Yeah, we do. But speaking about that crazy talent and coaches, you know, growing and learning over the years, do you think that we are, as a country, where we should be in terms of our talent pool, our coaching pool, and are we achieving what we should be achieving with what we have?
No, not even close.
And why?
Firstly, structure, non-existing. You know, you put a better structure in place, you put a little bit, and people keep on coming back. You put some money behind that structure, you will get results.
Of course.
You know, so I definitely think structure. You you need to use the former athletes. We've learned from that.
Yeah.
You know, the likes of Matthew and Geraldine and Mona and all of us, we were the struggle in that system, you know, so you use these guys and I can guarantee you pick up the phone, not one of them will say no.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not like so we have the people. You need to get the structure right, and the structure needs to be for the athletes, for no one else but the athletes.
By the athletes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how
We always
by
preach it.
athletes for athletes, you
We
know.
always
And
preach it.
the sooner we get that in place, I think we will jump. We will do a lot. We have the talent. We definitely do. So I definitely think.
We also see though a major imbalance from, especially like even if we look at last year's season's 2021 World Junior Champs.
Yeah.
We know the whole story. Kenya, the USA team wasn't there. Blah blah blah. But we saw our country performed. You know, we brought the bag full of medals home. Even if USA and all the big countries were there, previous junior championships, we always bring medals home.
Yeah.
I don't read
It
into
is what
it.
it
Junior level.
Yeah,
We always bring
that's
medals
what
home.
I'm
They can
saying.
all be there.
But there needs to be a plan.
Yeah.
What are we going to do with
From
this
there.
juniors
How
from
they
here
progressing it.
onwards?
Yeah.
How are we going to support them? What do they need? What do the coaches need to make them better, to give that support? The problem is most of these kids are at school. So they're done with school now, right? And now they hit the most important part with that transition between junior and senior.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now there's zero support.
That's where
And that's where they and for me that's where they fall away. It's not necessarily a talent thing or a coaching thing or anything to do with that. It's you at school. When you're at school, you're pretty much supported by your parents and everyone else. And when you're done with school, and everyone seems to be thinking you're an adult now. You need
It's
to go
war.
find your feet and whatever. So most of those guys then get to a point where like they cannot afford to pay a physio. They cannot afford to see a doctor. It's not at the disposal the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And that's part and parcel of the reason why a lot of them don't go through. You know, besides some of them, they're overtrained and, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
but some of them you can still get out of it.
Yeah, because I mean, what is overtraining, Paul? I think it's such a tricky thing. I mean, let's just look at the athletes from Norway,
Yeah.
the Inga Brussens. These guys, the mileage they're doing is Kenyan mileage. It's, you know, what's the limit? You know, it's so difficult. I mean, where do you start as a coach? Do you have to watch how the athlete responds more than to say this is too much? 'Cause
I always
what
say
is
that,
too much?
I always say the eyes don't lie.
Yeah.
It's the eyes don't lie.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of people was so used to this one fit all thing. Doesn't work. Maybe at the school system when everyone is basic, you know, when everyone is at the same level, your true talent will pop out of that. You know,
naturally.
that generic program basically. He will pop out or she will pop out because they just that talented. They can feed off minimum. But then there afterwards, it's different. I mean, I take Benji for instance. I mean, a lot of people don't even know he's got scoliosis. You know, so
Like bolt.
it's never been. I had to remove him from the gym. You know, I put him with someone this season. He's working with a strength and conditioning guy that's working around his condition, and this is pretty much someone that ran 10-1 with no gym.
Sure.
You know, so and a lot of people are too phased on too many things. You need to be strong to do this. You need to be this. Yeah, what goes for the one doesn't necessarily go for the other one.
100%.
You know, you need to work around the athlete and what makes them tick. And we're all different as human beings, so we all tick differently. You know, what's going to work for Alyssa is not necessarily going to work for me.
Yep.
You know, she responds differently to things. So as a coach, I think you need to find that middle ground. What works for who.
Yeah, of course.
And also how to handle which athlete. You know, some are bombastic. We know that. You know, where you have to tone him down, relax, you know, and get ahead of himself. And some are
Something's
more
wrong.
calm. You speak to them and they look at you like, and then you feel like you'll turn around like, damn, am I speaking to myself?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, but you don't get a response. But you must learn to adapt as a coach, and you need to be able to read the athlete, you know, and you need to be involved. I need to know at all times what's happening with you, because if you had a fight with your boyfriend at home and you're not feeling well at training and I'm still pushing you over the edge,
Yeah.
what do you think? What kind of response am I going to get out of you?
Yeah.
I'm not saying I need to know your whole life story, but I need to know what's happening with you in terms of, and it's a simple thing with females. You need to understand a simple thing like their cycle. You know, where they are, which day of the month. A lot of people don't like to talk about it, but you have to
talk about it, Paul.
because that's the time where, you know, I need to tap down training. Now I scheduled a hard week, you in week 3 of a hard cycle, you know, before you switch. Now it falls into, you know, and you can't give me what I want. So at the end of the day, I'm doing more harm than good. So communication comes down to communication with the athlete is key.
You know, what you said, so simple, but probably
so important.
So profound.
So important, like
because it can, I don't know, you'll know better, but I mean, it sounds profound because I've never heard anybody talk about that in part of the planning and periodization and all this beautiful terminology, science. They know it all.
Yeah. Look, I always say people makes this thing way more complicated than what it really is. Over the years, from when I competed, before me, the generation of Frankie, Maurice Greens, you know, all of those guys. Basics is basics.
Yeah.
You know, you need to understand the basics of athletics in order to, you need to understand how periodization works in order to set up a plan.
Of course.
That's it. If you don't understand a simple training cycle, how are you going to coach someone? So, yeah, look, I mean, like I said, I like to keep things simple. I don't like to go over the top and be too fancy. Simple got bolt to 9.8 to 9.5.
Just like that.
Let's be honest. People are reading too much into the spike situation and all of these things that's flying around. Wade ran 43.03 with the old Adidas spike. Come on, man.
Yeah.
You know, if your focus is going to be on all the external things, how are you going to compete on the track?
Laying it down.
Absolutely.
The truth is,
It's just my feel. Look, a lot of people might not agree with it. That's just the way I feel about it. You know, it's just like, Bolt was a freak. We all know that. You know, more than likely, we won't see another one, maybe in our generation, but you never know. I mean, these youngsters that's coming through now, they're crazy.
They're breaking his old records.
You know, so, I mean, look at the American boy, 17 years old, 19 seconds. So, it happens. Funny enough, you ran in Adidas. So, you know, so that's why I'm like, I don't, because you can't control that. Every shoe company is going to do what they need to do to get the edge. But you as an athlete, you need to get that edge yourself. And forget about the externals.
No,
you know, so because if that's just, I don't know, that's just my seeing in terms of, if I'm constantly going to sit and think about this and this and that, how am I going to coach? Over things that I don't have control over.
Exactly, yeah.
I can only control what I can control. The athlete can only control what the athlete control. And it's the same with competition. At the end of the day, the guy that gets to get on the day is the guy that's going to win. Doesn't matter what.
Exactly.
It stays in the moment, doesn't get ahead of himself, and does what he needs to do. I mean, back to Benji, was impressed with him. Had a terrible semi-final at World Juniors. I was I literally walked to the warm-up track and doubting myself. I'm like, what was that style? That's me. What did I do? I'm first going to analyze myself in terms of what's happening here. And then when I got there, it's like, I need to be confident. Because if he looks at me and see any sort of doubt in my eyes, he's going to be like, what's going on here? And I'm just like, it's cool. You had your bad run. We'll get them tomorrow. And I turned around and walked away. Got cool down, see you tomorrow. Boom. For me, I ran a great final. That was it. You know, I mean, from a semi-final like that, it shows his mental capacity to come back and run a final and medal. You know, so I knew he was in better shape. He knew he was in better shape. I think the hits didn't do him any favors. That 10-2 came too easy, and then he thought, I'm okay. And then he got a shock in the semi. Which was good. So rather in the semi than the final.
100%.
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm saying. You know, you can only control what you can. At that point in time, I'm his coach. He's my athlete. We can control that. Nothing else outside of that.
Coach Paul laying down the facts today. Crazy.
Right, we're gonna look at the 4x1 from the juniors. Let's look at that. The world champs, world record race. Fukama. Hit us.
And And they're off. Watch out for the Nigerian team on the outside. They've rested some of their runners, but they have got a tremendous team in this final. Italy go off a bit early for me. They've slowed down. They've got the baton. Everybody off safely. I think it was Nigeria in the lead. Keep your eye on Nigeria on the outside. But Jamaican team working hard there in lane 6. Nothing between the Jamaican and the South African team at the moment. Italy in third. South Africans just have it. 2 meters ahead of the Jamaican team. It is Richardson on the final leg. Can Benjamin Richardson convert his silver in the 200 in the 100?
Fantastic stuff over there. I mean, come on. Tell us about that moment. I mean, already you've got a silver with Benji in the 100 meter.
Yeah.
Now comes the 4x1.
Yeah. Look, for me, it was a sweet moment. I had 2 athletes that I coached personally in that team. Michlale that started, and then Benji that finished. It was a bit of a rock and roll, where there was a little bit of confusion who's running the 100 between Machali and Bradley, which funny enough is also training with me now, Oliphant. So yeah, and coming from the disappointment of Olympics, I think myself and all the athletes, we went there. I personally think we should have medaled. Definitely think we could have won that. If you look at, it's the very same Italian team that we beat at World Relays. That won that. So I felt for the guys, so I was a bit like in a negative space going to World Juniors, and when ASA asked me would I help the team, I mean, we literally had 2 days to prep that whole team there. And we ran 2 different teams from the heat to the final because Benji and Dambile was still busy with the 200. I needed to give him a day break, and in the very next day, and we literally got some of those exchanges done, on the warm-up. We went long before the race, and you got some of the work done. And look, it just shows once again, if an athlete and people want to do something, they're going to do it, you know. And Benji was off a high. Dambile was off a high. I mean, I was very happy for him. He had a difficult year with injuries, and he showed once again what he's about.
Character.
The character coming through, winning bronze, and for them then to finish off the way they did in the relay. And for me, it's a good thing because, Kanye them in 2019 opened that door.
Yeah.
Him, Simon, Tando, and Clarence, same 2019, I think we should have medal. We made a few mistakes, but we learned from it, and I think once we iron that out, we're definitely going to be a force going forward. We have the talent, we have the guys. At this point in time, I think we can throw 2 4x1 teams together, if not more. Yeah. So that for me was like a bittersweet ending to the season. We had high hopes after World Relays. Olympics didn't work out as planned. And then the juniors came through and did their thing, So look, I'm happy for them. What I'm more than happy about is that the US record we got on top of it. So US not coming to World Juniors is like, we don't care.
We don't need
even if you were there and you got your record. So
nice.
So that was the nice thing. And look, and it's a good thing for these youngsters, man. It opened the doors for them in terms of the trust and belief in themselves, in their coaches, and knowing you don't need to go anywhere to do it. You can do it from here. Get the proper structure and support in place, and we've got the talent, and we've proven over the years we've got the coaches. I mean Tanya Ann's, bless her soul. Really would Wade, the amazing work she's done with him. And at the age that she's at, the perseverance in terms of, I'm going to keep pushing. And then, I mean, she can retire with a smile on her face, which I don't think she'll do anytime soon. But, with a world record. And I think that is what athletics is about for an athlete and for a coach as well, is to work with that caliber athletes and to achieve the highest. I mean, if your goal is not to be the best. I don't know what are you doing there. What are you doing here? And it goes exactly the same way. I mean, I have some mentality than what I had as an athlete, and I'm coaching. I want to be the best in what I do, because if I'm the best, my athlete's going to deliver the best. And that will always be my attitude. Hate it or love it, that's it. That's just me. And for some athletes it works, and For some,
Absolutely.
it doesn't work, and you need to find your fit.
Find your fit. But I think you just opened the door there. You mentioned all the accolades for the juniors, junior boys, junior men sprinters. Where's the girls, Paul? What is happening?
Yeah,
We always speak about
Paul.
this, and we
Look,
always hear coaches speaking about
I've
it.
heard the conversation. Themba and Henny had, and look,
Yeah.
I agree fully with Henny. We need to make a plan. We need to step it up. I'm putting my hand up for that as well to work on the females. We have phenomenal talent here. It's not a lack of talent. We just need to find a proper structure. You look, in all the years when we were running, we always said, you get one guy that's going to go sub 10, the rest is going to follow.
Yeah,
Now
and
we're
it
sitting with
happens.
6.
Yeah.
You know, and with the girls, Corinna's paved that way. Unfortunately, you stopped too soon.
Hey, Conley, why?
You know, so yeah,
She's
but,
coming
yeah,
back.
but I mean, if I look at it, I mean, we have a good couple of young girls, very, very good. I mean, our coach is 16-year-old. She ran 11.6 last season, which I mean we haven't had a while. I mean, you guys that so there's some good female athletes. I think they just need to find that belief that they can do it. We as coaches, you know, we need to support them, and we need to find a way to get them there. I think relay is a good opportunity for them to start there and work themselves up from there. Luckily, we have a 4x4 mix this year, so 2 females, 2 guys that has qualified based on world relays last year.
Sure.
So that's a great opportunity.
Yeah.
Someone like Custer coming back, I think that team, you know, could actually be
All of a
dangerous here
sudden,
now.
yeah?
So all of a sudden now we starting to be in the mix.
again. Yeah.
So, you know, once you have those caliber athletes doing stuff, you give the youngsters belief that they can do it. And trust me, these youngsters of today, they got no respect back. They don't care what you do. They feel us. They don't care who you are and what you do. I mean, and Benji was one of the boys that proved that. I mean, he got second at SA Seniors last year in the 200.
Yeah.
You know, so and there were some big names in the race.
Big
You know, so that's why I'm like, you know, what athletics is, it's on the day. It's any man's race, you know. And so that's why I'm like, females. Nah, I'm putting my hand up for that one.
And what's the plan?
It would be a nice challenge. On the men's side as well, you know. Firstly, for me is look, between now and 2024, we need to get more guys to sub 10. That's it. You know, that will help and inspire that
Need to hit
relay
the 10
10
mark.
much more. And then with the females, you know, I don't see it immediately. I see it maybe between now and working progress 24 and then on to 28. By 28, if we're solid by them in terms of the females, it gives us 8 years. You know, it's not
That's a good
an
time.
it's not an overnight job. You know, and if I look at the youngsters that's there, the likes of Rose, Banele, Shibangu, Viwe, they all 20, 18, 16. You know, if we do the right thing with that current crop that's coming through now, I'm sure by 2028 we should have at least 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
2 or
That
3
can
and a
do something.
relay team.
And a relay team.
Yeah.
for sure.
Strong relay team.
Yeah.
I believe that as well. The
I think we
youngsters
can
are
get a relay team as soon as 2024.
Come on.
If we
doing-
relay is about exchanges.
Yeah.
Don't forget 2001. Everyone was averaging 10-2. They ended up silver. Later on, got upgraded to gold. It's about baton speed.
Yeah.
That's it. If you get the baton speed sorted out,
Sorted. I mean, the
Yeah,
Japanese.
because
You're
of the
halfway there.
Yeah.
you're halfway there.
Look, Japanese, China, India. India can run relay.
Well, they obviously needed to start somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can't blame them.
Lessons.
I mean, I was at World Relays with some of the boys with the 4x4. Like, guys, if India beat you,
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
Right.
Like with the 4x4, I'm like, this is not happening. Not on my watch. I'm done after this. Then it means you guys don't want me here. So,
But I mean, they show us that it's possible, right?
yeah, look,
It's
it happens,
possible.
and it's possible. Look, and they did well. I mean, big ups to them. But the difference is why you're starting to see Indian athletes coming through is because there's investment.
Yeah.
Straight up.
There's investment.
100%.
You know, they might not have the talent that we have, but there's willingness. Yeah, I mean, there's support. You know, those sort of things. We have in terms of talent, we're not lacking, man. It's just
Now we got
once
enough.
we
More
get
than
all
enough.
of those things sorted out, I'm sure we'll be fine.
When it comes to track and field, I always preach that we at least top 3 in the world.
Yeah.
If we can just fix the structure.
Just need to fix it.
Yeah. Look,
Just
I mean,
structure.
in our day, we had this one coach from England, Tony Lester, and he used to coach a lot of the top pretty sprinters. And he would always be like, because I trained for a bit with him and a good friend of mine, Tim Benjamin, and he was like, come on, man, you guys are 50-odd million people. You want to tell me you don't have someone that can run sub 10? I mean, this is minimum, or that can run sub 20 or go 43.
Yeah.
Come on.
We are a small island compared to you.
Yeah.
But then again, we can't compare in terms of finances
they
what is
come
put
with
in
everything.
for that Britain team. So yeah, in terms of talent, we definitely are lacking. I think the sooner everyone and the main key players get together and we formulate the structure, we'll be there. I think we are already better off. There's athletics people that's starting to get involved. That's been former athletes. That's doing it for the right reasons. And I think as soon as we get the financial backing for some of these things, I think we'll be okay. I hope. I hope. That's my hope for athletics.
I mean, it's a bright future. It can only get better. We can only get stronger. So just gotta group together and do the work.
Of course.
Do the work.
100%.
Even though it's an individual sport,
Nah.
but some things behind the scenes, it's teamwork. So.
Definitely.
All right, so let's look at next up. Obviously, on the topic, we've got plenty of international opportunities on offer as athletics gears up for a bumper period. This is an article Wesley wrote, released earlier today.
Yeah.
Man, this season, how as a coach or an athlete, when they talk about buffet or buffet, this is a
choices.
buffet here. If
What the dessert?
DZ,
Which
in
will be the
desert.
middle.
But I mean, come on, Commonwealth Games we've got. We'll see what. I hope if everything stays. I mean, there's World Juniors, there's World Students, there's indoors, there's Commonwealth. It's like come on. What else?
If ever athletes had a cry for opportunities this year, World Students, I think it's a good starting
Important.
place for a lot of people to kickstart their career. I mean, Anasa won the double there.
Yeah.
Winning World Students gave Akani a lot of confidence. You went
Absolutely.
sub 10 there for, I think, the first time, if I'm not mistaken, at World Students when you won that.
Yeah, I think second.
Or some, but I mean, that kick-started him. He went straight on, and we know, and he's been in a couple of major finals as well. I think in terms of 100 meters, he set the benchmark.
Yeah.
For some of the guys, I think it can still improve, because we still need that medal. In the 100
I
at a
mean,
major,
you don't have to tell him he wants it more than
he
anybody.
wants it.
Itching.
I know a lot of, I think Gift has shown his worth.
Yeah.
I definitely do think if he didn't get injured last year at Olympic Games, he would have been in that final.
Sure.
That was my prediction.
For sure.
So he was unfortunate, but he showed what he's capable of doing. Look, Gift has always been a great talent.
Yeah.
You don't call him the Gift of speed for nothing.
The gift of speed.
So that's why I'm like, I mean, in terms of the men's side, we're good. And competitions, you're gonna
shows younger Paul.
you're gonna have to choose wisely though as well, and even your planning's gonna have
They're
to
very
be on
important.
point.
How does that work? Because this is a challenge as well to team selection.
Yeah. Look,
You know?
obviously Nationals is going to play a major key role in terms of selection. I think they've made it quite clear in terms of where they stand with that and what they want to do. So I think we're going to have a rough Nationals. Our guys are going to want to come out there and do their thing. It's just the start. I think Nationals normally for me, seniors, is like a kickstart to the season.
Yeah.
Anything that happened before that is, I look at as preparation, putting a races together. Nationals, if you have your first decent run there, and then from there you set the tone for the season.
Yeah.
Even though it's a little bit early, this year is different. World Champs is early.
Yeah.
Very. So World Champs is early. So and there's a lot of hungry guys. I mean, that 100-meter men, I don't want to be them. I'm glad I'm retired. If you look at these 3 spots, and and there's a list of names. If
Too
they
many.
show up and they do their thing,
Six guys can win. You don't know who.
there's a list
That's
of
Olympic
names.
Games final.
So
Like-
now I won't go to that extreme, but I mean,
We're backing up South African guys.
nah. Look, I mean, it's Greenpoint. Conditions is gonna play a major role
Yeah,
there
yeah.
as well. So look, not impossible. I mean, Simon opened up there with a 10:06, 2019. So
Look at
it's,
that.
if the weather's good, you can definitely go fast there. So I think nationals is gonna be an interesting one this year.
Yeah.
But
it's a...
Juniors is tough.
Yeah.
A lot of those boys that went to World Juniors are still junior this year.
Yeah.
They got 2 spots to fight for per event.
Sure.
So and then Commonwealth happens exactly the same time as World Juniors. So yeah, it's got World
busy, yeah.
students. World students I feel is a good stepping stone for our females. Get them in there.
Yeah, I was going to touch on that,
Get them in there. If they do what they need to, you get them to World students.
So this is what I wanted to ask Paul. If we talk about under 23,
I think they should.
did we make a big mistake dropping that age group at competitive level? I know in Europe they take it serious though,
Very.
and it was it's a solid bridge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a transitional phase, between your junior
Junior and
and senior.
Come on, give
I
them a
think
chance.
I've always said it. I think we should have had an African under 23 championships for many
Brilliant
years.
idea.
Yeah.
It's not too late.
It's not so. I like the idea.
Yeah.
The jump is not too big. Your exceptional juniors will make that jump.
Yeah, of course, always.
But for the rest of them that's trying to find their feet, I think that's a very good thing for them. Under 23 championships.
100%.
And if we can have an African under 23 championships.
But also then when we look back, I think it's an amazing idea as well. But if we look at seniors, women, if we have 3 heats, we're lucky.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the problem there is how do we increase the number of juniors continuing with their athletic career as under 23 or senior, because we can't even, sometimes we go straight to finals.
Yeah.
Like we know.
Yeah.
I haven't trained for a long time, haven't raced for a long time, but I can go to nationals as
Be
an
in the
athlete
final.
now, and I'll be like, I think I'll make a final for the 200
Yeah,
without even training.
You're right.
So how do we change
even
that? How do we, how do we increase the number
Eish.
of female athletes
Look, it's
continuing?
I have a different stance on it. I think sometimes it's a cultural thing as well.
Yeah.
Our families, especially with females,
Yeah, I
you
know.
get to a certain age and
Must have
when you're going to
children.
find yourself a man, this is not what's happening for I promise you it's I might say, but
That's a true story.
it's what's happened,
Yeah,
and especially when they get to that age where and there's no support for them, it's like, why am I doing this?
Yeah. It's tough.
So once we start getting those sort of, it's very difficult, but
I still believe
we need a change in terms of you get 2 to 3 females that's doing their thing. I promise you the rest will follow.
Yeah.
100%. And I believe that we need mentorship programs from that
Yeah.
junior to under 23 to senior
They
for
do.
females specific. Females are not as strong as males when it comes to that competitive level, especially in South Africa. We don't have that, let me not say arrogance, let me say that confidence like Americans and Jamaicans, and where we challenge each other. Like,
Different
if I
background.
challenge a female, she'll be like, okay, it's fine, Alyssa.
It's
Take
personal.
it.
It's
fine.
personal.
She
Yeah.
won't be like,
Yeah.
no, Alyssa, I'm coming for you,
Yeah.
type of thing. She'll
You
be
mi-
like, no, it's fine, take it, Alyssa, it's fine. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? They back off so quickly. So I do feel like we need that mentorship programs where we can
No, we
build
do.
the confidence in females.
But that needs to start at school level.
100%, yeah.
Not when they're done and when they literally done. Okay, now they hit that period. The problem that I find sometimes here is we get to the situation, then we want to tackle it instead of putting plans and measures in place before we get to it. So when we get to that, we know, okay, this is either we're going with route A or route B, and if nothing works, then C. And what is normally C? We lose them.
Yeah. Yeah, that is
And that's what we
most
need
common number.
so
Let-
so I think we need to put
interesting, yeah.
measures in place from a school level as well.
Mm.
Look, and this thing is, and it comes down once again to young females, and even you see it with some, the men is a little bit strong mentally, get pushed too hard too soon. So by the time they get to 19, 20, they're like, I don't do this
Over
anymore.
it.
It's not fun anymore.
Mara,
It was a job since school. It felt like I have to do it.
Yeah.
you know, and parents as well. You know, if at school kids, I mean, sometimes I sit at the event and I'm like, oh my word, did that just really happen, you know? I mean, it's like the amount of pressure they put on those kids to perform. At school, we're supposed to enjoy it.
Yeah.
I mean, I hardly train at school, you know? So supposed to enjoy it. Yeah, right now I'm in a different environment, I mean, because I work at the sports school.
Yeah.
But for me, it's important to monitor the load.
Yeah,
You know, it's
absolutely.
important to do it. So when they get to seniors, they still would want to do it.
I definitely agree with you. Just crazy, so crazy. But interesting topics, interesting conversation. We get to the heated things right now, Mr. Gorries.
Only now.
Only now. It's been such a great conversation. I know. Predictions. 2022 predictions, please. It's a personal thing. It's fine. You know, anything can happen. But just tell us, what do you think?
Look, I'm a coach.
Yeah.
I coach my own athletes, and first and foremost, I always back my own athletes.
100%.
Otherwise, why am I coaching them?
Exactly.
You know, so I back my guys 100%, because if I don't back them, I don't back myself.
Are you gonna drop names? What's happening?
So you mentioned that the juniors are gonna surprise the seniors.
Look, juniors, we got that covered. Seniors, we're working on. Juniors, I'm confident I've got that covered.
So you think we're gonna increase the number of sub-10s this year?
We hope so. We hope so. I hope so. It's good for the sport.
Yeah,
it's good for the sport.
And
doesn't matter who does it. Doesn't matter who's doing it from what particular group. It's good for the sport.
Definitely.
That's it.
For South Africa as well.
And for South Africa, and for me, it's you run fast is always good for relay.
Yeah.
You know, my mind always goes back to the relay, because I still believe if we get it right, that's our definite medal going into World Champs this year.
Definitely.
Alyssa, are you happy? Did he give you any prediction?
I know, no name dropping, but anyway, I'll take that over to the females. We have Karina Warren coming back.
Yeah.
What I think is going to be very interesting. To see what you can do.
We also have a couple of youngsters that's quite confident, you know, so which would be interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, look, like I say, I don't care who wins. I back my horses, you know, so, and if my horses do what they need to do, I'm good, you know, or not my horses, I must leave that my.
Yeah.
The athletes I work with.
Yeah. I like that.
There's no my athlete, you know, it's our athletes. So, yeah, look, I mean, I'll always back my guys. I'm open for surprises. Surprise is nice, you know. Me personally, I definitely think Mr. Van Niekerk's going to be a major factor this year. You know, whether he runs 1, 2, or 4. He's hungry. You can see it. I've watched a few of his things. Enrico's hungry. He's been out for a while. If he puts it together, I think we saw last year at AJN, where we got a glimpse of what he's capable of doing. You know, and in terms of the juniors, I mean, I've got 4 boys that's fighting for one spot in one training group. So
the numbers are there.
The numbers
definitely. Yeah. No, for real. We love that, Paul. Guys, I'm going to be at Nationals. I'm going to be taking bets. All the money can come to me. Don't worry, I got you covered.
Nah, no bets. No.
It's going to be a great year, I think.
I just want, for me personally, from a South African perspective, I just want a good championships. It's good for the sport. It's good for everyone. The more athletes we get to a World Championships, Commonwealth Games, and World Juniors, the better we off as a country and going forward. You know, so for me, is like I said, I've got my guys, but I'm not biased. Everyone wants it, and you know, that's sport. It's at the end of the day, who's going to want it more on the day.
Yeah,
that's it.
It's going to be a
in
good
terms
day,
of talent. It's it's pretty evenly matched, I think, with a lot of the guys. But it's going to be who wants it on the day.
All right.
It's been great. We've gone from
they're soft, man.
too soft, but it's fine.
No. 100 meter SA final, top 3. You know, that's how you're gonna drop names like that. Number 1, Sarara.
Nah.
It's a national coach. We'll leave it. It's fine. It's
It's
fine.
definitely going to be an exciting season.
If all of them run fast, is good, man.
like a true relay coach.
If all of them run fast. If we get 6 guys under 10, I'm happy with that. We can take 6 guys to a World Championship. Exactly, you know. Not mind the countries, you know. And I think it's been a long time coming, and those boys deserve that.
No, 100% definitely agree with you.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the conversation. It is, what is it, 7 o'clock, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness, time flew, but it was really fun, guys.
It's been a good chat, yeah.
We're gonna have to wrap it up, and thanks, guys. Thanks for joining us, Paul.
Thanks, Themba. Thanks for having me.
It's an honor having you here.
Thank
Alyssa
you.
Conley.
Thanks, Alyssa.
Always,
Nice seeing you again.
And it's an awesome season ahead, and let's rock it. Let's rock it.
100%.
You'll be producing the results, relays,
I'm hoping.
athletes, junior.
I'm hopeful.
Yeah, I think therefore to close it up, Mr. Gorries just give the athletes, what a motivation, inspiration for the 2022 season. It's going to be a busy one. You are an inspiration to us on the track, both as a previous athlete and a coach. So yeah, let's leave them with a few words.
Look, for my thing, simple this year. Good luck to all the athletes. Trust your coaches, believe in their plan, because if you don't, it's not going to work. It needs to be a 100% commitment. You guys are all talented, otherwise you would not be doing that.
Yeah.
And from my side, I just wish all of you best of luck and lots of medals in 2021.
Absolutely.
2022.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks a lot. Thanks for watching. We'll be back again next week. We've got an interesting. We're going to bring in a youngster. He goes by the name of Lightning. Strikes in the form of Pile. He's going to be with us. So,
great talent.
Great talent. You worked with him a lot. Great human being.
Yeah.
Good shoulders.
Super guy.
So let's see what happens.
Big future.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Oh, my ears.